Oh yeah, way to go, Binks! Like the first 5 seconds, drop. Oh, we got demonetized in the first 5 seconds.
That's it. 1,000 subscribers, demonetization. We're done.
Yeah,
we're over.
Yeah.
A different language. I don't know. Final language, that means there's something else.
Oh yeah, it got demonetized. Damn.
Wow, Binks.
Binks, way to go. Way to go! I said I was streaming. Way to go! I did say that. Oh my God, Binks! Oh my God, dude!
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Way to go, Binks! Filter buddy, inside voice.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself for a little bit until we start.
Good Lord! Oh.
Okay, I'm here.
Yes,
we're here. We're not here. We're not here. We're here. We're not here. Sometimes we're here. Sometimes.
That was my 100%.
Well, good news is I got remonetized, so.
100% my fault. Don't blame him.
Oh my God. Binks.
It slipped out.
Binks, you're supposed to hold off till like the first minute.
To be honest, I don't remember the last time I said that word in 2, 3, 4 hours. So I don't know why it just came out of there. I think he's just been sitting there cooking.
Oh yeah, apparently. Okay, so now that we've got everything squared away, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Dragon's Lair. I'm your host, the Dragon Lord Kai, and I am with 2 guests on the panel tonight. I was hoping we'd have a little bit more, but unfortunately we didn't get that. So we have Jar Jar Binksa, or Binks Gaming. He's just coming in because he wanted to talk about stuff, because I do invite guests on the panel, whether they're a YouTuber or not, retired or in hiatus, whatever. So it's good to have you in there, Binksy.
I'm hiatus.
Yeah. And then we have, with a brand new camera, we have the mighty Lord of the Ewoks himself. Yum, yum. Yum, yum. TFG1 Mike.
Jump.
I'm here.
And the only reason why you have the Lord of the Ewoks is the big bushy beard.
I know.
I have to, man. All right.
You blend in.
Yeah, you blend in. Now, if only we could put you on indoor, that would have been even better. I might have to see if I adjust it to put you on indoor in the future. Oh, that's too bright.
I know. I just wanted to see it for myself.
Oh, okay. I just make sure you're safe for yourself. So, welcome, viewers. It's an honor to have you all, and a big shout out to one of my viewers that actually asked me to go see it and sponsored me, because I've been cutting down luck on finances because of my car theft that happened. So much appreciated. You know who you are. Thank you, brother. So this is and dedicated to you. So for the first half of the show, we will have non-spoilers. So once we get done with our initial review, once you see this come off and you see this, that means we are on spoilers now. So I'm doing this because I want to, if those that don't want to be spoiled, this would be the time to hop off or, mute us or whatever you want to do. If you don't care, either way, happy to have you. But for now,
put the spoilers back up for a second, please.
No!
No, do it. Trust me, it'll be fine. Leather, should have been yellow spandex.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I get that. All right, so I went in there very objectively when I looked at Deadpool, and I gotta see it twice, so that allowed me to kind of look at it from different lenses and kind of rethink things. So that was really cool. So the first thing is, I thought that the choices of music in the story was really fantastic. It was great choices to flow through the movie. And I felt like Hugh Jackman still had it as Wolverine even though, he's been out of it since Logan and he wanted to retire. Good news is, from what I've seen, I was reading some reports online, and it sounds like he is going to be Wolverine for a long time. So,
Till he's 90.
Well, he's 90.
Yeah,
I mean,
until he's
come on.
90. Yeah. But, and we'll talk more about that as spoilers. But the one thing I liked was the introduction, the intro to Deadpool 3 was phenomenal. It was a great draw. A lot of movies sometimes fail to do that really good attention grab at the start. And I really felt that it really got you invested within the first 5 minutes of it. The CGI, the music, and the pull of it. And that's one thing that's been nice about the Deadpool, if you look at it from Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and Deadpool 3, and now Deadpool 3, or Deadpool Wolverine, he's always started the pull. As in, he tries to do a narrative to drag you into it. And I liked that. And it starts the story off very well. And hello, Gaki. How are you doing? So then, in my opinion, there's a lot of fourth wall breaks, which were fantastic, and that leads up to things. You get a lot of cameos, and you get a lot of cool spoilers, or things that could have been, or might have been. And we'll talk more on those on the spoiler side, because for those that want to see that. And the plot was easy to follow. Originally, I had been told that if you hadn't watched Loki, you were going to be lost. So my mom is living proof of that. When she went with me, because we decided to make it fun and just go and watch at the IMAX, and she could follow it. You don't need to know this. The beauty of this movie, you don't need to go in knowing anything. You don't even have to have watched all the Avengers. You don't have to watch anything. It's the perfect introduction to getting people into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Deadpool. Now, the cool thing at this, over the weekend, it was like $575 million that they made. So they are basically, money machine is just printing nonstop, which is really good. Which is part of the reason I did the thumbnail with the $100 bills behind the scene, because this is a lesson for Hollywood on how you tell a good story, make a good movie, and give the fans what they want, and you will get money, and the money machine will go brrr and just print itself. This is something that Hollywood has forgotten. So yep. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Jar Jar and see what his initial opening thoughts are on this, and then we'll go to TFG on mic. Remember, right, no spoilers, so you gotta be careful how you do it.
So from just the opening scene, I'm not gonna explain what it was, but just from that, it got me hooked. I was willing to see, hey, where's this going? Because I really didn't have too much hope how the way Marvel's going. But for that, just that opening scene had me hooked. It was moving fast. It was just cool. I don't know how to really explain it without spoiling it, but it's such a cool moment, and you get to see oh my god, let me explain it. I guess even in the trailers, he's showing Deadpool has a reason to what he's doing through the whole movie, and it actually brought a humanity to him, and that meant a lot. I think if you didn't have that, it wouldn't have been such a great movie. But him trying to do what he needs to do, and what he's working for, it meant a lot. That's about pretty much all I have to do. I really love this movie. I really don't know how else to explain.
It was a good movie, front to back. It was interesting. And we're going to talk about this way later, but all of the fourth wall breaking, all of everything else, he calls himself a certain title in the movie, and it's not really a spoiler because it's all over the internet now, but
I personally think he is. I personally thought he is at this point.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I know. Unless you count Doctor Doom, who has been white since the 60s.
Man.
So, but thank you. So, yeah, yeah, I really dug it. I thought it was fun.
It's,
Now it's one of those things where yeah.
I threw you off on that one. I know.
You did. What he does and how he does it, and just everything that they do to basically Ferris Bueller the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Pretty much, that's what this movie is. Although I don't know who would play Cameron because it sure as heck wouldn't be Logan.
I have an idea, but I'm not going to cover this. I know who, but I'm not going to cover it right now because that would be a spoiler. But
later.
But I can see who's Cameron.
But yeah, the action was great. It was I'm usually not a bloody, gory kind of moviegoer, kind of enjoyer, watcher thing and whatever, but it was all right because just the comedy of it all overtook some of the violent scenes, which I was fine with. I like how the pacing is in the film. The way they incorporated all of the songs, the artist licensed songs in here, is really great. I will say there was one thing that I didn't think was, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be there, and it wasn't, unfortunately. But that is what it is. Considering that band came out and defended Deadpool recently, because Deadpool defended them back in Once Upon a Deadpool with Fred Savage. But anyway, yeah, no, I really enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. It was fun.
I have Dogpool.
Yes, you have Dogpool. Thankfully, that dog's tongue isn't as creepy as the dog's tongue in the movie.
Right? Right? So when I looked at the whole I got thrown off by Dogpool. They had to come and say hi. So when I looked at how they flowed it with all the cameos, with all the characters, no surprise, there's a lot of characters from Fox. It was a nice way of saying goodbye to a lot of characters from the Fox studios. And it was good to see a lot of throwbacks. There was a trailer in Deadpool, which so I'm not going to consider that a spoiler. They brought back the original Sabretooth. That was interesting. And you'll recognize a lot of characters from the X-Men 1, 2, and 3. You'll also recognize a few characters from other Fox movies when they used to have those rights before they sold it to Disney. So now that Disney has everything but Spider-Man, this gives Disney pretty much infinite power. But there is definitely some signs that if Disney listens to Ryan Reynolds and they really do well with it, there's characters, actors they could still use going forward, because I think they found a few characters, which we'll talk about, could be really useful in future Marvel movies, including a particular X-Man that I just absolutely really, really enjoyed. So the one thing is there's a lot of actors in this one. So the fact that they brought in so many actors as named actors or unnamed actors, but because you've seen them once or twice in X-Men, was really good. And I didn't really feel like anything was over the top. It made sense. I mean, and the rated R part, I think Marvel should kind of embrace more of the rated R, because I feel like that allows more creative expression, and that's what makes Deadpool really good. Now, you add a rated R Logan to the mix, just like the movie Logan, which was rated R.
Yep.
you have an award-winning combination between those two, which is something that a lot of people wanted to see for decades, because Deadpool and Wolverine basically go hand in hand like peas and carrots and all that because of comic books, history. Hell, there was a Deadpool video game where Deadpool always gave Wolverine a bunch of shit and all that, which it was a fun game for what it was. And I think the main boss that was Mr. Sinister, if I remember right.
That was a good game. I remember that game.
Yeah. I just remember Deadpool slapping Wolverine and telling him how much he loves him and all that in the game, and I'm just laughing. Like, what the hell? So the cinematic was good. The pacing was really good. Easy to follow. I felt like there may have been some scenes behind that they cut out that could have been a little bit more filler, but it really didn't need much filler up until 3/4 of the movie. About 3/4 in the movie, which would make sense, about third act, it got a little too fast. I felt like Deadpool could have went another 30 minutes and the audience would not have noticed. I feel like that could have stretched it out just a little bit more to fill in some gaps in the movie. That was one of the things that I was looking at when I was watching it. It was like, it just goes steady and then it's out there. And still, all around, great movie. It had a story that was isolated, so you didn't have to worry about, any following of any type of Marvel Cinematic Universe. That was the best part of it, because a lot of the times now with these Marvel movies, you have had to watch the Rings of Shang-Chi or whatever, the Eternals or Spider-Man, or it's like you had to watch all this stuff to even understand what was going on. And in my opinion, this was a great movie that captured what was missing in a lot of Marvel movies, such as throw back to the golden days of Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, where it really was not. They were contained episodes, and each of those episodes, the movies, as I want to call it, led up to a bigger threat that led to Avengers. That's what's missing in a lot of things with Marvel right now, is they try to drown you with too much stuff and they think they're doing the hype train, but it's really just, you feel like you're drowning and you check out. And the other thing is they use a lot of people that were not named for, characters that really in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that people didn't really know and they didn't develop, that were better off developing through it. So bringing in Deadpool was the best thing they could have done, because now because now they can bring in Deadpool and Wolverine, because now that Hugh Jackman is in Marvel, that way they can now cross over and be part of these other stories and movies, and hopefully they can start building a better cinematic universe. I hope Hollywood learns how to model a really good movie like this.
Yeah.
Because that was my big concern going into it, is how much did Disney really control of this? How much creativity was taken away from Ryan Reynolds because, you went from Fox to Marvel. Disney. Wasn't. I didn't notice it. In fact, he roasted Disney and Fox as much as he could, and it was really good.
The thing is, I think, and I don't have the Wikipedia or the IMDb pulled up, but I think he has story credit or writing credit on here.
Yes,
this was his baby. So there wasn't going to be any and again, we are at I'm gonna have to pull up the article later, but we're somewhere in the middle of phase 4, maybe close to the beginning of phase 5 with this thing here with Deadpool and Wolverine. Problem, I've said this every time we've talked about Marvel Cinematic Universe. When you name your movie Avengers Endgame, that's the end. They tried to do the TV series with WandaVision, Falcon and Winter, Hawkeye, not Iron Fist, thank God. They did the miniseries Defenders. They did Luke Cage. They did other things, and it was fine, but I don't know. For me, after Endgame till now, I don't think. What did I said this earlier today when Chaos and I were watching the movie. I said there's 6 or 8 movies in Phase 4, and I think 3 of them I like out of whatever the total number of Phase 4 stuff there is for movies specifically.
Yeah.
The shows, Hawkeye is its own self-contained thing. I like that. And number one, I like seeing Fisk. I like seeing Vincent D'Onofrio back as Fisk and all that and everything else, and that's cool. So I'm not worried about Hawkeye or any of that. But any like you mentioned earlier, Kai, Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, the Eternals, Ms. Marvel or Captain Marvel or whatever the heck the Brie Larson picture is, I don't care.
You don't get invested into it, and it doesn't give you a reason to care. Deadpool and Wolverine was something that a household name to give you a reason to care. And
because there were 10 movies, well, he did 10 movies before or after, whatever, with Wolverine, and then there were the 2 previous Deadpool movies.
But
say what you will about
the other thing is, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman pushed Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine a lot themselves with their blurbs together. The marketing was really good.
The marketing campaign on Deadpool and Wolverine for this film is just sheer genius.
Yes,
really
they
is.
spent several years marketing this, and it was really good marketing to really push it together to show the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. That was what I really liked about it. It was already the initial part. Because yes, you are correct. They are an established IP already coming over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was how they built this whole Deadpool hype for them. It was great marketing. If you look at Ms. Marvel, you look at the Rings of Shang-Chi, all that, there's no real marketing to it. There's no hype to it. Just people saying stupid crap on Twitter or stuff and making them look bad. Whereas meanwhile, you got Ryan Reynolds posting funny stuff and crap talking Hugh Jackman and all this stuff. They built it. They built that whole motivation on there. They built you hype.
Yeah. We were ready from that very first commercial, that very first teaser, where Ryan is sitting on his couch, or Deadpool, or whatever. They're all the same damn person.
Yeah.
Hey, Hugh, you want to come back and do blah, blah, blah? Sure, Ryan. Ever since that advertisement, that's all they had to do. Everybody was in because everybody wanted. Yes, Logan is an amazing movie. The regular original theatrical run, the color version, the black and white version, all of it. The whole movie is great, absolutely. And if that was going to be his last movie, I would have been happy with it. But because it's not, and because he's going to be doing this until he's 90, which will be in 2058, I believe. 34 years from now, he will be 90. So it's just one of those things where it was awesome. It was cool. It was fun. Like I said a second ago, marketing for Deadpool Wolverine, you don't see movie marketing campaigns like this for any movie, not just superhero, not just Marvel, but for any movie.
And think about it this way too. You brought up a comment here, Mike. Hugh Jackman was done with Wolverine.
Yep.
He didn't want to do anything anymore. This turned it around for him because I think at that point he realized it's inevitable. He is the Wolverine. You're not going to replace him, just like you're never going to replace Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones or Han Solo. You're not going to replace Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Those are built-in staple names at this point, and I think this movie helped him accept that fact that he is the Wolverine that we deserve and need. I mean, he does it fantastic from start to finish.
I mean, I think there's other characters that could play him, but they can't act like him though. They have to be just something different.
Let's look at Wolverine, Deadpool, and Iron Man. Okay, Yes, Iron Man snapped his fingers at the end of Endgame and he's gone. That's fine. Whatever. But the thing is, Robert Downey Jr., Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds playing those three characters before 2008, before the Marvel Cinematic Universe started. Iron Man was tier 2, tier 3, maybe in Marvel comics. Like,
Yeah, he
had
wasn't.
he had one cartoon in 1994.
He was like a support
1996.
cast.
Yeah, he was very
He
much
wasn't.
support cast. Robert Downey Jr. came back to acting and got his act together and stepped into that role and basically gave us gold. And he's been giving us gold ever since.
I mean, if you look at comics, like Iron Man wasn't like the main show for most of it. Like he's just in the background, kind of doing shit.
Yep, absolutely. And the same thing with Ryan with Deadpool, and Hugh Jackman was genius casting back in 2000, 99, 2000. I know the movie came out in 2000, but whenever they started production on X-Men, before Hugh Jackman, there was only ever one actor who was Wolverine for me, and that is the voice of Wolverine from X-Men the Animated Series.
Yeah, I think like the perfect casting they have always gotten was Professor X, Wolverine, and Deadpool.
Since Patrick Stewart's too old now to be Charles Xavier, well, I'm ready for the role.
Yeah, I get it, but I think those are all perfect castings. Like those guys are pretty much set in stone as those people.
I'm ready for the role. I've got a bald head. I'm ready. You don't need to put the fake skin over my hair. I'm ready.
You could have shaved the rest of your hair off.
Yeah. I'm a drunken Xavier. I'm really drunk. I'm this guy that, is really upset with everything. Oh, wait. I have psychic powers. Mike, I want you to go walk into that wall.
I'd be really bad. I'd be a terrible Professor X. Like you do things that you don't want to do, man.
Binks, you're a 14-year-old girl now with pigtails.
Woo.
Don't even do that, Binks. Holy shit, man.
Don't do that. Oh my god.
I just remember that because Professor X told Logan that he was going to be, like, I think, an 8-year-old schoolgirl with pigtails or something like that.
He told me to turn into that.
Yeah.
So you could do that?
And that's the thing about these roles is that
you remember the quotes and the lines too.
Yeah, I remember them.
So that's the thing about these character roles, these acting roles, and everything else. You get actors from 24 years ago that solidify the character for that amount of time in multiple movies over that time. It's really hard to want to see somebody else in that role, even though we all know that there's going to have to be at some point a different new Professor Xavier, because Patrick Stewart, as you said, is getting up there in age.
I think he's 90-some years old now.
I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, something like that.
Well, and you got to think, look at the Spider-Mans. You had Tobey Maguire, you had Andrew Garfield, you had Tom Holland. You've basically been going through the Spider-Mans, some of them going too fast, some of them going, actually all of them went too fast, in my opinion.
Unpopular opinion, I like Andrew Garfield.
I
think he's my favorite Spider-Man.
I like Tobey Maguire the best, but I liked Andrew Garfield as well. Tom Holland, for me, was a third.
Yeah, he is. I think he's third. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah. For me, what I liked about Andrew was that he was essentially kind of sort of 94 Spider-Man, because he had to do the mechanical web shooters and everything else. They weren't organic and everything else.
I think Tom Holland is just a baby Tony Stark. That's all he is.
Yeah, that's all he is.
So
there you go. There you go. In some alternate what-if universe, Tom Holland goes on to play Tony Stark after RDJ doesn't want to do it anymore. Patrick Stewart, July 13th. He just had his 84th birthday this year, July 13th, 1940.
So Phase 5. So Deadpool, now I got to fact check you, is part of Phase 5.
Phase 5, yeah.
So
That's what I figured.
this is pretty much like the first of Phase 5. Originally was going to be the Brave New World with Captain America, but because of
And then they moved it.
poor performance all of Marvel has been, they pushed Deadpool up to the front and center. You got the new Captain America, Brave New World. You've got Daredevil coming out, which I've heard that they've had to change this writing again on that one, which is not the same Daredevil from Netflix, which same actors, but whole new script, everything, which I'm not a big fan of, just because.
So,
You might have to
Phase
fact check me, but I think another director dropped out of the Blade.
Yes, I think there's 3 directors now, which we're going to talk about that in the spoiler section, because there is something about that.
Well, I was just saying. I didn't
Yeah.
fucking,
No,
bring it up.
you didn't do a spoiler. I'm just saying there's some things in there. So, all in all,
Phase, good.
I think the movie did an outstanding job for keeping people's interest that weren't interested in Marvel, like my mom. She don't give a damn about comics. She don't give anything. She said it was a very funny and entertaining movie, and she could follow along with it.
It was really good until I think, like you said, the third act went way too fast. They could have maybe explained some more crap, but it went way too fast to the third round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Phase 5 started with Quantumania, went to Guardians 3, The Marvels, and then Deadpool and Wolverine.
Quantumania doesn't mean anything now.
No.
Oh, I know.
Quantumania don't mean anything. Neither is Ms. Marvel. I think Brie Larson's no longer going to be Captain Marvel. So.
Thank
But
God.
I'm saying that's how it started.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool and Wolverine, and next is Captain America.
But if you noticed Phase 5 was all losers money wise.
Except for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Back.
Before they came into it, they were not making money.
Yep.
This
And then,
movie is what Multiverse of Madness should have been. I think it 100% it should have been.
Well, there's some spoilers that we're going to talk about on that too. So, so overall, unless we don't have anything else,
I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. I would do that. The only reason I don't give it a 9 is because it went way too fast in the third act. But I would give it 8.5.
I liked how fast it went. Not that it needed to wrap up really fast, but I liked the action of the. The
action was awesome.
The action was awesome, but I'm talking about the pacing of wrapping the story up. I think it went too fast at the end there. So I'm in agreement with Binks. I originally was going to say 9. I'd been thinking about it, and I was thinking on a scale of whether 1 through 5 or 1 through 10. I like 1 through 10 because it gives me a little bit better. I'm going to say 8.5, mostly pacing, as I would love to have given a 9. 10's really hard for me to settle with because...
No, it's not a 10.
It's not a 10.
No, it's almost impossible to have a 10.
10s are really hard to come by. You have to almost hit every tone.
I wouldn't even give it Endgame a 10. I'd give it a 9.5. I wouldn't give it a 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to have a 10.
And that's the way it should be. It should be, hey, this is what it should be. I mean, so that's kind of where I'm looking at it. Mike, what about you?
I'm going to give it a 9 overall because I enjoyed it. I liked the pace, even when it did speed up, because that was the thing. Like, you had to, it was the time crunch of having to save their universe. And to me, honestly, the scene where they are, which we will get into spoilers in a minute, but the scene where they are in the basement and they have to do the thing with the...
Yeah, the thing with the thing. So, guys, this is the hard this is the hard part. We're trying not to have spoilers for you guys because if we talk spoilers, the scores could change. Right now, I'm giving it with just the top analysis, not the bottom analysis, which is literally going through the scenes itself, because that could subject to change. But without non-spoilers, I'm going to say 8.5. So, I mean, Mike says 9, Binks has it. This is subject to change as we talk about different scenes. Because we're, like I said, we're doing something a little different than movie reviews here. But first of all, before we switch over to spoilers, so I'm going to slip over here. This article here. So IGN has been going absolutely bonkers. I don't know if their writers are currently drunk out of their mind. I don't know if they've been huffing their own farts too much. I have no idea what IGN's been doing, but holy crap. Mike, they have wrote hit piece after hit piece after hit piece on this movie and griping about it. But these are the same guys that fucking idolize Acolyte.
What I want to know, IGN writers, anyone that works for the website IGN, please tell me. You can email me, you can tweet at me, whatever. I don't care. Most of my information is public anyway. I will sit here and tell you at TF2 and Mike on X, TF2 and Mike at gmail.com on for email.
Oh, hold
please,
on.
IGN people, email me and let me know what in the hell is going on with you, because this is the same crap you've been doing since I've been podcasting 16 freaking years. This is not new. This is not new for them.
No, this opinion says the fans deserve better than made of blockbusters like Deadpool Wolverine. This blockbuster here is what the fans deserve, because we have been getting shit shoveled down our throats for years with Disney and Hollywood in general, from the Star Wars, from all this. This was something that we needed. And I mean, you know, you got people in their comments saying, oh, is this you? They gave the Marvels an 8. I was like, whoops.
I give that a fucking 3.5.
And then, like, some people are trolling them, saying, please shut up. Because they made 10 posts, different articles, just bad-mouthing this. And then somebody says, I'm starting to think IGN didn't get a paycheck from Disney to promote it.
What I would also like to know from IGN, which I know I'll never get this answer, what is their page rate or article rate for these people or these automatons or this AI to write 10 different hate articles or like, oh my God.
So critics gave it 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score has spoken with a 97%. Eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Great fucking movie, man.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Right. Because, like I said, ever since that very first advertisement, like I mentioned a little while ago, where Deadpool was like, or Ryan was like, hey, Hugh, you want to come back? Sure, Ryan. That's all they needed. One question, one answer, and here we are in 2024 with Deadpool and Wolverine.
I mean, you look on here, they are getting ratioed by freaking everybody about how stupid this is. Even one of them added Ryan Reynolds because they're like, all right, do you guys really put up with this crap? It's like, I mean, everybody is just asking, what is the issue? Even Movie Nerd has given it really good scores. He gave pacing 89, uniqueness 75, which I think uniqueness was way higher than that. The pacing maybe a little lower on my end based on what we talked about, but I'm just like, I'm going through this and I'm just like, what the hell is IGN doing?
Yeah, I will never listen to IGN again after he did that Pokemon review. It said too much water.
I love Elon Musk one there. There you go.
They gave it a Pokemon game 7.8 out of 10 because too much water.
Yeah.
I'll never listen to IGN again.
I love this one. Why are you the way you are? That you are.
IGN does nothing.
They have just been attacking this film nonstop, and they're not winning any. They're not winning any awards for their writing. In fact, it's like, dude, IGN, maybe call some of us. Maybe we can write way better than what you have if you pay. The pay's good, because holy crap, this is awful.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's like, It's crazy.
It's really, really bad.
I just can't believe it. Just how screwed up that is. I wanted to talk about that because it really just made me go, what the hell is going on with IGN to sit there and I think they've had like 10 articles just attacking Deadpool nonstop. They even gave it, I don't remember what their review is. I think they gave like a 7 or something. I'm like, no, it's not a 7.
Unless you're so this is the thing. So
Dude, you're gonna Deadpool a 7. Like all the other movies that came out after Quantumania is probably like a 2.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I'm seeing what I can find what they gave the score. Because it was awful.
The thing is though, 10 different articles. I'm assuming 10 different writers. If it was all the same writer, why are you letting one writer write 10 different articles about this one movie? Are you trying to create false?
I got more information for you, Mike. The reason why they were griping about Victor Von Doom and Robert Downey Jr. is because Jonathan Majors was Kang and was originally supposed to be the next Avengers movie as the villain. And since he has been replaced...
well, maybe he shouldn't have done what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that's irrelevant, though. Because Kang and Doom are two separate freaking characters.
I know.
You know that. Binks
know
knows that. Everybody listens to the sound of my voice and wants to
more powerful. I can tell you that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, what the hell? Like, it's fine if you want to sit here and say that they were going to cast someone who was an African American or a black actor in the role. Similarly, how they
that's fine. The only time I would okay with they like bitch about that is if we casted a white guy as Black Panther. That's the only time I would okay, yeah, we should do that.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. The only time that I can think of in the last 21 years, 2003, last 21 years, that Marvel specifically, Sony, Torch? Fox, whatever. No. Well, there is that. But I was thinking that Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, has always been white up until Daredevil in 2003. But Daredevil in 2003 was an outlier because it was Michael freaking Clark Duncan.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Who was an amazing Wilson Fisk.
Amazing fucking Wilson
and
Fisk.
I'm thinking to myself, he portrayed Fisk so well because even in like the comics, Fisk is not a fat guy. Fisk is a guy that's almost, I think it was like 99% muscles. So he had superhuman strength, basically.
Yes, somebody that can take on Spider-Man. Spider-Man's powerful as shit. Like, somebody could take on him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the thing is about, so when, I forget when Michael Clark Duncan passed away, but whenever he passed away, it was after Daredevil.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It was before, it might have been right before or right after.
I think it was after the Island, when they did that cloning thing with Ewan McGregor. The Island, as I think it was called.
So here it is. I found it. IGN gave it a 7 out of 10. And they said, and their review is, Wade and Logan's profanity-laced adventure forces the MCU further out of its comfort zone than it's been in years. Even though old and increasingly frustrating issues like forgettable villains and barely there's a plot, that breaking the fourth wall isn't always enough to solve a movie's foundational problems. IGN does not know how to write. They don't even know how to do a review. That was
That's not. There's no forgettable villain there.
Yeah. So now that we have thoroughly roasted IGN and said what we say about it, all right. So like Ramcross said, spoilers. Let's go. All right.
They never read the comics, and they don't know the fucking the villain. Like.
All right. All right. So here's how we're gonna go. You have been warned. It is now spoiler time. Spoiler reviews. We're going to discuss it kind of frames as we can from start to finish it. Like I said, I'm doing this because I don't want anybody to get all mad and say, oh my God, you ruined it for me. No. That's why we're doing this. All right. you've been warned. We are on spoiler mode now. So, damn good song at the start of the intro to Deadpool. It is ranked 20th on Spotify because he brought that damn song back, which is
I used to
Bye
listen to
Bye
NSYNC
Bye.
all the
And
time.
I'm like, holy shit.
I still pump that shit out all the time, man. I'd be playing NSYNC the entire time. I love that stuff. I was a 90s kid.
And no problem, Blitz. I know you're gonna. I appreciate you watching this Saturday after you've seen it, because yes, unfortunately, now we are on the spoiler side of it. The intro was fantastic. I mean, I loved the intro where he picks up, he digs up the corpse of Logan from his timeline because he's trying to find him. And he pulls up an adamantium skeleton, and he's sitting there talking with the skeleton.
It's so fucking good.
And he's just sitting there talking to him. Says, "Well, we were going to do a movie together," and he's moving Wolverine's mouth,
talking like an Australian.
Yeah,
An Australian accent.
Yeah, he was doing that. I was just like, "Oh God, already!" And so then he starts the fight by ripping off the ribs of the Wolverine and throwing it at the TVA who show up to apprehend him. And so it gets a really gory fight scene. And then it does its normal stop like it did in Deadpool 1. Like, well, how the hell did we get here? And by the time you start the first fight scene, you're having bye, 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 and you got all the credits. You're invested into it. You're just like, okay, this is a blast.
While he's fighting them, he's doing the dance to Bye Bye Bye.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. So once you go through there, and these guys will definitely catch it if I miss something on this.
Mm-hmm.
Then they start talking about his life, what happened, why, what's going on, and my favorite part is him trying to join the Avengers. And he's rejected, and he made fun of the guy from that was Tony Stark's driver, the limo driver and stuff.
The chauffeur.
Yeah.
Happy Hogan. Yep.
Yeah, starts making fun of him. It says, I just want to join the Avengers because he wants to impress his girlfriend, because his girlfriend basically wanted him to, in some way, grow up and be responsible and do something with his life because he's got the superhero powers. And so he thinks joining the Avengers would be something that's going to fix his relationship because he doesn't want to move on from Vanessa. And he's down on dumps, and he's essentially at that point given up on life. He basically staples a toupee onto his bald head and sells used cars.
Yeah.
With his buddy that worships him. With Peter that worships him. And
he keeps fucking the uniform in his closet.
Yeah, he keeps trying to get him to get back as Deadpool, but he has no interest in it. And so I thought the pacing on that really told the story well of a man that's just kind of his life's falling apart at this point. And
yeah,
everybody in his life's important to him, but it's like he's lost. He don't have a sense of purpose anymore. That purpose fell away, which also affected his personality, which also affected his relationship. And him and Vanessa are still friends, but he still feels really empty. And they're at a party, and he's telling everybody how much he appreciates them. And he's celebrating, I believe, his birthday.
Birthday, yep.
It was
And
birthday.
At that point, then
TVA
the TVA shows up. There's some great fourth wall breakers with it, and he treats the TVA like a bunch of strippers coming in.
He's used to pegging.
Yeah.
But Disney's not.
And he's giving these guys crap outside his door and says, well, maybe if we scoot over here, and it was funny.
I think it's not you, but the guy next to you that can't see his eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then he gets dragged into the TVA, which is from Loki, their timeline.
Time variant authority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets brought there. and he meets Mr. Paradox. Mr. Paradox is talking to him about, well, they want to offer him a job and be part of the Avengers and move from his timeline into what they call the sacred timeline, which has to do with where the Avengers are.
Yep.
And so he's excited about it, but he wants to tell everybody, hey, I'm going to be an Avenger. And he gets a uniform and all this. So he's got a brand new Deadpool outfit. And there's, of course, this one guy. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking, including the guy that's staring at Deadpool, like in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Also,
just
the
hilarious.
the guy that puts his suit on.
Yeah.
He's slapping his ass the entire time.
Yeah.
I
I'm like,
don't know about you, but I think he might be an offender.
that was
Yeah.
a great quote. I mean, and when they said he's going to join the Avengers, this is where he said, I knew it. I'm going to be Marvel Jesus. Which
Jesus.
it was like he was picking an omen at this point that, guess what? I'm going to save Marvel and Disney at this point. I'm going to be the guy that does it and make short shitloads of money without saying, by saying, I'm Marvel Jesus. And that's the punchline. Most of the show is, I am the savior. I'm Marvel Jesus. So that turns out to be his big punchline he uses throughout the movie.
And towards the end of this movie, that he's 100% correct. He is the savior.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he really was at this. It's like he had full confidence that this movie was going to hit it out of the park, and that's why he had to throw it in there.
And it fucking did.
And let me tell you, the audience was laughing their ass off when he first said, I'm Marvel Jesus.
He smashes his face against the camera and goes, fuck you, Fox.
Yeah, yeah. I love that part. I love the fourth wall breaking he did in this one more than any of the others. This one was so good. And so then he finds out his timeline is going to be erased. It's dying because their anchor that keeps the world intact is gone, which happens to be the Wolverine, who died of selfless acts in Logan. So their world was going to fade away. And everybody in there is going to be erased, which is why they were pushing him to go to the sacred timeline, because the higher ups at TVA wanted Deadpool to remain.
Yep.
So Deadpool was like, so I just need, a final Wolverine or anything. So he punches Paradox in the face and steals the time.
Now.
Yeah, and he steals the time variant item that allows him to warp through timelines and dimensions and everything. And he goes into various worlds, which ends up absolutely hilarious.
The best
and
thing that Multiverse of Madness should have done.
Yeah, and he goes and trying to look for a Wolverine for his world. He's obsessed with saving his world, so he's going to find it. And one thing I didn't mention is he finds out that Paradox is going to destroy his world faster with the Time Ripper. Yep. I should have included that. My apologies sooner. But yeah, so that was the urgency that he planned on in like 48 hours wipe out his world, his timeline. So he had to do something. So that's where it takes you back to now.
Well, he also thinks that if he could find the Wolverine, it would fix his timeline.
Yes. And then it flips back to the point where he fought all those guys and the song Bye Bye Bye, which to me was the hilarious part, was he took Wolverine's hands and basically tried to pretend to be Wolverine and impales his own arm with it the first time. It's like,
he's stabbing himself.
And then
I don't know if we can talk about it, but when they were fighting there, and he has the one call in the guy's back end, and he has the other call behind him, and they're going back and forth.
Yeah.
That shit was so fucking funny.
And the main boss of the TVA and security is like, "You're sick.
You're so sick." Yeah, dude, I couldn't stop laughing at that. But
I could not stop laughing at. Yeah, because you got one guy screaming, he's trying to pull the claw out of the guy's rear, and the other one on the guy's groin, and they're going back and forth.
Going back and forth.
So
that's so fucking fun. This movie is so good.
The movie, it's like he threw in so much comedy into this movie
Yeah.
outside just the
what we
fourth
needed.
wall. It was something where it's serious, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
him
I
doing
think
this.
is comedy done right compared to Ragnarok or the Love and Thunder, whatever the
Yeah.
hell it is.
It's
I think
something
that
you needed.
comedy is shit compared to what this is. Like, this is good comedy.
So
it might be biased though, but
rolling forward on the spoilers. So he goes through timelines to find a Logan. The first one he sees is
awesome.
Is hilarious. He calls out Logan, and Logan's like 3 feet tall.
5'2".
Or what's it, 5'2" or something?
Comic accurate Wolverine. 5'2".
Was it 5'2"? Because it looks so smaller.
Yeah,
I thought,
so. I thought it was smaller too, but he jumps off that fucking stool.
Yeah.
Hops off it like a toddler.
Yeah. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh god, this is what's going to happen. Then he goes to another dimension and he meets this Wolverine that's an absolute psycho. The world's burning and starts attacking Deadpool. And then the great one that I liked was he finally broke the meme. There was the Cavill ring. He finds Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
That's so cool. He's like, hey, from the back, you look like Henry Cavill. Holy shit.
You're so cool. Before Wolverine proceeds to pound him through a wall and send him through another dimension.
Yep.
And that's
he does his notorious Mission Impossible arm cock thing.
Yeah. And then the other one was he found a rich Wolverine with an eye patch over his eye, which was absolutely hilarious.
Oh, he's from the comics patch.
Yeah. So that whole thing to find Wolverine was hilarious. Then they find this Wolverine, the one that's the main character in Deadpool.
I forgot about the Hulk one.
Oh yeah, they did throw back to the Hulk one with that, and then Wolverine's.
It was small, but
yeah, it was easily forgettable because yes, he did have some of the costume, but Wolverine or Hulk hits Deadpool so hard that he goes through a dimension.
Deadpool quotes Loki from when Loki fought him in the Avengers, where before he's a dull creature or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And Hulk just smacks the hell out of him.
Yeah, I did forget about that one because that one was much smaller. So
I wish we would have seen that in the movie though.
Yeah. And then so it flies to the part with Logan, and he decides, okay, I need a Logan. This guy's the right size, the right tempo, and then he also finds that he has a uniform underneath his outfit. And so Wolverine's not interested and wants to be left alone, and then drinks and passes out. So he brings Wolverine to the TVA and says, I found a Wolverine from my timeline. Turns out this Wolverine was the failure one that let his world die, basically. And so...
which caused the end of the mutants.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
the cool thing about that whole scene to me is the fact that it's this quote unquote the same bar and the same bartender from X-Men.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, it's been so long. I didn't notice.
Yeah, cool, so
though.
one of the things
cool.
they threw in, there's a lot of things they threw in all the memes for Wolverine and Wolverine's Hugh Jackman's replacement ideas. They threw in all the original actors from the Fox. So what
I think some of them were recast.
Yeah, so the Juggernaut one, that is not...
Juggernaut's recast.
Juggernaut was a recast, yes.
Psylocke was
but
recast.
Toad was not, Pyro was not.
Toad was not, Pyro was not, yeah.
Sabretooth was the original X-Men one, not the Liv Shriver one from Wolverine.
I think Lady Deathstrike was recast too.
Lady what? Lady Deathstrike probably was.
I don't.
Was a recast.
She seemed like one too, but
she probably would have been because. Well, no, I know, I know we are, but I'm just saying so we get the cast stuff out of the way now. Lady, I think the reason why Lady Deathstrike was probably a recast is because originally wasn't it Kelly Hu? I think it was. Let me look it up. Hold on. Anyway, keep going.
So eventually, Paradox, the head of this TVA, says, nope, sorry, this is a failure and it's not that simple. And he goes, I gave you the opportunity to join the Sacred Timeline and join the Avengers. So he basically sends Wolverine and Deadpool to the Void, which is basically the trash heap where all, essentially you get it together, where all the Fox characters go to die, all the unwanted characters that Disney doesn't want. It's like the graveyard for Fox, the studios, for the old characters, which was funny. So you see the 20th Century Fox there, and they have a really good fight scene because Wolverine's pissed at Deadpool at this point because he didn't want to be brought there, and then he wanted to find this Paradox because Wolverine basically was told he was a loser in the nicest way. And so Hell's Bell starts playing, which is a great song to go with it, where Deadpool and Wolverine finally go at it and fight each other and beat the hell out of each other. Then Captain America eventually shows up. Joking.
Oh,
Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, which is Chris Evans, shows up and asks them to basically stop fighting because they need to work together. And then
foul mouth Johnny Storm.
Foul mouth Johnny Storm. So here comes the bad guys that are all under Cassandra, which had Sabretooth, Toad, Pyro, a lot of characters. Some recast, some original Fox ones. And they're there to round them up.
Original.
And they're supposed to be used for sacrifices. But you don't find out till just a smidge later. So basically Wolverine and Sabretooth go at it, and Sabretooth, well, gets wiped out in like 2 seconds by Wolverine.
Yeah, I think that fight should have been way longer.
It should have been a little bit more because it was like a one shot. Oh, he's done.
Even that was like another 2 minutes, like 5 minutes. Just better fight. Like
and then Deadpool thinks Chris Evans is ready to do an Avenger speech to moralize them and prepare for battle, and then suddenly you hear the words "Flame on!"
Yep.
And Deadpool's like, "What?" And so he turns in the Human Torch, flies, and he fights Pyro. This is the part I did not like with that one. I
didn't like it either.
The Human Torch should not be able to lose to Pyro, but
no way in any universe.
Human Torch
should
loses and falls and smashes his balls on a sign, which I gotta admit that was funny watching him come flying down.
It was funny, but
he should not have lost to Pyro.
Yeah.
No.
And then they're all captured, and they're taken to Cassandra, which during this time, Deadpool is throwing a lot of jabs at Disney. He's making fun of the whole pronoun things you hear. He's making fun of things that
Who's
people would consider woke.
They,
yeah. So at this point, Cassandra shows up and she's in Xavier's hover chair, and then she suddenly gets up and starts walking down the stairs, and he basically says, "Oh yeah, the woke mob's gonna be mad about this." So
I think her as a villain though was awesome. Like she was an awesome villain.
Yeah, it was. Cassandra comes out and she is just demented. I really loved how she portrayed Cassandra. She just is like, oh, I want a Wolverine. She was powerful too. She showed, to me, it was like, here's what would happen if Xavier was really freaking evil at that point, because she ruled with fear and she could pretty much destroy anybody. In fact, Deadpool doesn't shut up and gets Johnny Storm having his whole skin ripped off.
De-skinned.
De-skinned. And Wolverine's calling Deadpool son of a bitch for getting it killed.
You got him killed, you son of a bitch.
So
it wouldn't stop her in his mouth.
Yeah. So, and Cassandra hates Deadpool already because, well, he's a dime a dozen in the void, and he doesn't shut up. He just keeps talking. And she's more interested in having Wolverine at her side. So, but since they oppose her and fight her, and she proves that even though she's stabbed, she can't die. She summons Alioth, I think it was the name.
Yep.
And to, because that's basically,
Goliath.
yeah, that's how they pay homage in the void to keep everybody alive, is by sacrificing people to this monstrosity. So Wolverine and Deadpool escape using the Sentinel leg, which I thought that was a great throwback there with the Sentinel leg. And they run into Nice Pool at this point after escaping, which was
Also, I think
the
if
dog.
they would have had if they would have had like two OG 90s Sentinels guarding that place, I think it would have been really fucking cool.
Yes, I agree with that. So at that point, Nice Pool and Dog Pool show up. The dog is like a freakish version of of
The dog you can fucking find in the woods.
yeah, with this tongue that's like hanging all the way up. It's like, what the hell? And
Nice Pool is pretty cool.
And
too.
so
I
you
liked him.
play the lady in red, and so he's picking up, and Wolverine's looking at Deadpool like, what the hell?
We're taking her with us. The fuck we are.
So Wolverine wants to get out of there at this point, so he's teaming with Deadpool so that he can escape, and he wants to go back home. But also Deadpool promises that there's a way to fix his world and undo what's happened. So Wolverine has reluctantly agreed to go with him. So they take Nice Pool's car, which Nice Pool reminds me of some pretty boy Highlander kind of guy.
Canadian, like it's a Canadian.
So Nice Pool. When I first saw him, I'm like, okay, it's Ryan Reynolds with longer hair, kind of a mullet, kind of a thing, whatever.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, the first thing I thought of when I thought, I'm like, holy crap, it's a Canadian version of Cameron Poe from Con Air.
First thing I thought of was the guy from, I believe it's Not Butter commercial. I can't think of his name.
There's a time where I fucking laughed so hard where he's the Nice Pool was like, well, what could happen to me? And Deadpool's like, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the banner with himself is so good with it because he's running these Deadpool variants, and Nice Pool is just as nicest guy ever that can be.
He's like fucking straight textbook Canadian.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Talking like a Canadian, doing the A and stuff.
Yeah. And the other thing I liked was they talk about the Deadpool Corp at that point. Said, oh, you want to be wary of them. They're nasty and all this. And so Nice Pool offers a car for Wolverine and Deadpool to go find the others, which is the Resistance that's fighting against Cassandra. Well, not really fighting at this point, hiding. And so they're driving, and Deadpool accidentally slips up to Wolverine that they may not be able to fix his world, because he said which there's a funny hypothetical wish. So there's this whole argument back and forth, and then Wolverine just lets Deadpool have it and basically calling him a failure and a piece of crap and an idiot. And then they fight in the car, which is hilarious. So they're having a death match in this car, and every time Wolverine and Deadpool have fought, it's absolutely hilarious, because since they both have regeneration, they can sit there and keep stabbing each other and beating each other up endlessly. And then one of the audience laughed because at that point, Wolverine's laying there in the car in the evening, and he has all the seatbelts wrapped around Deadpool like a mummy. And the whole audience is laughing because it's like...
That was such a good fight scene too.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite fight
awesome.
scene. But this one was way better at this point.
It was
it's
so
like,
cool. Like, it is so awesome.
And I like how Wolverine actually used Bub and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Deadpool called him Peanut and everything. Yeah.
Smashes Deadpool's face in the dash of the car. It's playing the songs from The Greatest Showman from Wolverine.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So it was some great throwbacks to all their movies, plus all the fighting. And also, one thing I did forget
I'm
was
gonna go out
nice.
on a limb here and say that I think this is one of the best Logan
Yes,
scenes. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I think
There's
it's better
one-
than Logan.
There's
I think it's
also
better than the movie Logan.
there was also one thing I forgot to mention. All the Deadpools break the fourth wall. So Nice Pool was even breaking the fourth wall back at
Proposal.
Deadpool. Yeah, the proposal.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Do you think that's what I do?
Yeah. Yeah, that was. So I did forget about that. Apologies, because I know we're kind of going a little fast now at this point.
Yeah, that's
But-
what happens in the third act. This all happens real quick.
Yeah, it goes kind of quick. So then somebody finds their car and drives them to this hideout. And Deadpool wakes up, and Wolverine's already drinking, because Wolverine is nothing but a really bad alcoholic at this point. Yeah, I
that's
mean,
pretty much what
that's
he's known
pretty-
for in the
yeah.
his universe.
Yeah, so that's all he does is drink. And he goes, I love this place. And he has all this alcohol here. And Deadpool's trying to figure out where the hell they're at. And then Jennifer Garner shows up as Elektra, which she makes a hell of an appearance. Looks great for Elektra, having not done it for a while.
Yeah, man, she's
And then Blade, Wesley Snipes returns.
Wesley
and that
fucking Snipes.
was the greatest thing to see, was Blade, our Blade, back on the big screen. And then the one that surprised me, that I wish had its own movie, wish they had their own movie, it was a canceled movie, was Gambit, played by Channing Tatum, which I was like, Channing Tatum as I was iffy because I wasn't sure. So Gambit had the accent that nobody could hardly understand. He had the cards. He was playing with cards all the time. He had the outfit that you would see in the comics and in the cartoons, which was perfect.
He looked awesome.
It was amazing. And then he talked about, yes, he uses energy with his cards and fights with his cards and stuff. And then he, of course, was also breaking the fourth wall, kind of saying, well, I was never born. And he's referring to that he's
I might have
never
been born in this place. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's where there was a lot of thank you to Ryan Reynolds by Channing Tatum for being able to be Gambit, because that was such a well-honored thing.
I very good Gambit. He's way better than the one we got in X-Men Wolverine Origins.
Yes.
He's 100% better than that one. I'd rather have Channing Tatum do that for now on as Gambit.
I don't even remember X-Men Origins Wolverine. I really do not remember it at all. And I don't want to.
For 20 minutes,
Gambit
maybe,
was
15 minutes.
god-awful in X-Men or Wolverine Origins. It was god-awful. It was not worth it. But this
they fucked up a
Gambit,
bunch of characters.
but this Gambit was a Gambit that I would love Disney Marvel to retain, because this one was such a good. Channing Tatum did good. Now some people may disagree on that, and hey, I understand.
Yeah, I
but
hear
as far
mixed
as
stories, though.
I hear mixed stories, but I liked how he portrayed it, and then
I like it.
him bantering with Wolverine and Deadpool. It was like he was built for the role, the way the chemistry of those three were to each other.
I heard like multiple people saying like his Cajun accent's on point.
And
I
other people
heard
say
other
it wasn't. Yeah,
It wasn't, but then I also love the where Deadpool was like, I don't fucking understand you. Like I don't know what you're saying, buddy. Like,
yeah.
I think that's hilarious.
And he even threw.
Gambit.
Oh, go ahead,
The
Mike.
best thing with Gambit was the action scene with the cards when he spread them all out.
Yeah.
That was the best thing with him.
See, I like when he uses staff.
Yeah,
think
his
that was
energy
cool, too. He
staff.
uses staff.
And he fights like Gambit, like in the comics and cartoons. He doesn't do any, because they had a few Gambits in the past, but they weren't Gambits. They weren't fighting like Gambit. This one sounded like Gambit, fought like Gambit. And you know, it sold me on the idea of Channing Tatum being a Gambit in a future Marvel movie, because I think he would do really, really good.
I think it's cool too. Like, I as a person, I heard Cajun accents multiple times. I still can't understand them. So you can't bitch if you don't understand like what he's saying. That makes sense to me. Like that's what everybody hears.
Yeah.
I think that's okay though. Like I think that's how he should be. Like I don't understand you. I'm not from Louisiana. I'm up north. I never hear that shit. I think it was so cool. I think he was awesome.
I think Mike and I just had to give you the eye roll, my Binks.
What?
But
I never hear that stuff. I never hear that accent.
thank you for the likes, guys. Much appreciated as we're finishing up the spoiler section. And so then Laura X-23 shows up from Logan and basically encourages Logan to help them as they all decide. So since Deadpool and Wolverine escaped Cassandra's lair, they might be able to fight her after all. And of course, they kind of reveal that Johnny Storm was killed by Deadpool a little bit, but Deadpool's like, I didn't know such thing. He kept denying it, and Wolverine doesn't want to fight. Eventually, Laura from Logan X-23 convinces Logan that Logan was the guy that helped even when the time, when the time was right.
Yep.
And he finally confessed everything that would happen with him, to the point of what drove him to be this failure, that he had abandoned everybody, went to get drunk, and then humans killed all his friends and family. And then when he came back, he felt like he had failed him. That's why he started wearing the outfit that he criticized and hated, and always told Jean how much he hated it, and he didn't want to wear it, but that was his honor to them. So at that point, they go into Cassandra's stronghold to fight, and so it's an all-out battle. And in the meantime, Pyro's talking with Paradox to basically say, yeah, sorry, they escaped, but Cassandra is trying to get them, and Paradox is worried about Wolverine and Deadpool showing back up.
Well, also, he's doing it behind the TVA's back.
Yes, TVA has no knowledge of this whole thing. So he's just trying to take over the TVA and also wipe out all the weak timelines at this point. So leading up to that, they start the fight. Cassandra shows up and is laughing about it, and they all fight. And so they have a really good fight scene with all the characters. And Blade says something on the way there when he blows up and open the gate, says there'll always be only one of me.
Yep.
As it was
never going to be one Blade.
Yeah, and that was a jab at the fact that the Blade movie that Disney's been trying to do for years and keeps getting new directors basically has failed.
I think it's like 3 directors now for Blade.
Yeah, and even Wesley Snipes said it's not the actor that's failing Blade, it's just their direction and story. But I think Wesley Snipes should come back as Blade if he wants to, because he's always been our Blade. But I get it with him being, I think, in his 60s or 70s now. I can't remember where he's at, but I know he's up there in age with the rest of them from the 80s groups.
Yep.
So they fight, and they eventually get Juggernaut's helmet, and they stop Cassandra. Meanwhile, you also learn that Logan's dark past is he wiped out a lot of humans that killed the X-Men, even innocent ones, and went basically psychotic. Pyro...
Holy crap.
What?
Holy crap, y'all.
What?
He just turned 62 today. Happy birthday, Wesley Snipes. July 31st, 1962. He just turned 62 years old today.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Wesley Snipes. The real Blade.
That's right, the only Blade.
The only Blade. So there's a lot of quips. There's a lot of fighting. They disable Cassandra after she reveals that Logan had done all this atrocities, and it was a trap to use Juggernaut's helmet to seal up her powers. And then Pyro shows up and shoots her, and she's dying. At that point, this is where it gets a little even faster. Eventually, they take the helmet off because they need her. And Wolverine tells her that he's doing this because Charles would, and that Charles would go through hell to save her. And and if he had known about her, he would have done anything. So at that point, they bring her. She comes back to life fully, and at this point, this is where I was glad they didn't like, oh, it's a redemption arc, and they're changing her, and she's gonna be all this goody two shoe. No, she had killed a Doctor Strange and had one of those portal things, and said, well, here you have a few seconds before the big guy shows up and eats them all, and see if you can beat it. So she gives him a way out, and then she finds out from Pyro that she was betrayed by TVA, and Cassandra was the guardian of TVA's void, and they had an agreement so she could keep people as servants and also feed the non-desirables to the giant monstrosity. And basically there's a balance because the TVA basically threw away all these characters, basically.
Yep.
It was a clever way to basically say all the Fox characters here, this is file 13.
Yep.
And
Pretty much.
So at that point they make it back in their world. Paradox is trying to get the Time Ripper ready to destroy that timeline, and Cassandra shows up with Pyro, kills Pyro, and then gets into Paradox's head and finds out what's going on. So she beats up Wolverine and Deadpool, sends them into a building, and finds out how to activate the Time Ripper because she decides she's going to destroy the whole timelines, destroy all dimensions, and leave only the void where she believes she'd be a god at that point, unstoppable. So at that point, it was the Deadpool show up, all these variants of Deadpools, which is the dead corpse, and basically Cassandra had ordered them to stop Wolverine and Deadpool. And it was really cool, in my opinion, because it is cool seeing all these different variants, and Dogpool shows up first, and of course Lady in Red's playing, and he's all happy, and Wolverine's just like him, and Nice Pool shows up and he warns him, oh, the Dead Corp is here to stop you. And so Deadpool grabs Nice Pool, thinking that he could be used as a shield because he has all of them has regeneration. And they all, Lady Pool, all of them shoot Nice Pool. And basically Nice Pool says, I don't have regeneration. And Wolverine's calling Deadpool a fucking idiot because he just killed this guy.
The one guy that didn't have generation.
The one Deadpool out of all of them did not have regen. So
I think he did it on purpose though, because after he pulls him across the entire street, he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
Gets his head exploded.
Well, that's because Deadpool wanted the dog.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, that, and he wanted his Desert Eagles.
Yeah, he wanted the dog and Desert Eagles.
But I got these golden Desert Eagles.
Give me your suit, your dog, and your gun.
Yep, that's literally what it was. It's like,
Yep.
So Nice Pool's gone, and at that point, the Madonna song that you see in the trailers plays, and Wolverine realizes they need to fight together to stop all these Deadpools, which is like the most epic fight scene at that point. They have Like a Prayer going. Wolverine finally puts on the face mask from the comics.
Cool. It was awesome.
It was so freaking cool.
My only gripe about that was that he you can't tell where he's looking.
Yeah,
like,
you couldn't.
He looks like a blind person looking around.
Yeah.
So everyone will say, "Oh, you had way more mobility than Batman ever did." Yeah, except in that mask, because you could, like you said, you could not tell.
But I believe Wolverine had increased sense of smell. I think.
It was.
Yeah, no,
he looked like a blind person putting his head up, looking around.
Yeah.
Like he was just trying to look around. That's my only gripe about that. But other than that, it was fucking awesome. I loved it.
So the fight scene takes on at that point. They're playing it, and I love the whole fight scene at that point. They're all fighting. Wolverine and Deadpool are just teaming up and fighting hundreds of Deadpools.
Yeah,
which I think was freaking cool. And they're teaming up
because Deadpool or Wolverine is like, yeah, at least I get to kill 100 of you. Or
yeah, because he hates Deadpool still a little bit. It's like a love-hate relationship to him, which is really cool.
Oh, he fucking hates him.
So at that point, they finish off all the fights, and there's a baby Deadpool laughing at him, and Deadpool's talking trash to it. Which, fun fact, I believe it was Mike that told me, Kid Pool and Baby Pool were Ryan Reynolds' kids.
Ryan and Blake Lively's kids. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool cameo they threw in there.
And the thing about Lady Pool, it is Blake Lively's voice, but it was a different. It was a stunt. No, it wasn't even an actress. It was just a stunt woman that was in the suit.
Yeah,
man.
I thought that was cool having Ryan's family in that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at that point,
awesome.
The baby's laughing, and all the Deadpools are regenerating, and Deadpool's like, "Oh, they all have regeneration."
Right. Yeah. But the one.
Oh, except Nice Pool. And then Pete.
Also, the head pool and cowboy pool.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Pool. And
Nathan Fillion was the head pool.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool on that. And then Peter shows up to convince the Deadpools to stop fighting because they all have a Peter in their world. So
they all got a Peter in them.
Yeah, I was like, God damn the fourth wall.
It's fucking Peter.
And so at the end, they're running in there to try to stop the Time Ripper. Paradox tells them that they will die if they go into the chamber to turn off the power, which is matter and antimatter. And basically, Deadpool's willing to self-sacrifice himself. Logan's like, no, you got people here. I got nothing left. And so they're basically arguing about who's going to sacrifice themselves. Eventually, Deadpool lets Logan go do it. But then he tricks Logan and locks him out. And he's trying to do it. And Logan's pissed at this point, screaming to open the door and stop this nonsense. And Cassandra's about to destroy all the timelines. And Deadpool cannot reach the matter with the antimatter. And Wolverine finally breaks the lock and gets in there at the last second and gets the other antimatter or matter, whichever one it was, and then grabs Deadpool's hand. And of course they have like a prayer playing, which it looks like it's going to kill them, and instead it just stops the Time Ripper and kills Cassandra instead. Paradox pretend he's emotional that his two best men died and Cassandra betrayed everybody. Then of course one of my favorite parts is Deadpool and Wolverine showing up, and you hear Paradox go, "Fuck!"
Yeah, because he tried to play it off like I sent two of my best men in there, and they're dead. Boo, boo, boo.
Yeah. And so
make him walking the fuck out.
So basically, Paradox gets arrested, and Deadpool finds out that his timeline is saved because whatever Logan did, and that there was no way that Logan's timeline could ever be saved because losing everybody that Logan did is what made him the Wolverine he is today.
Yeah, the anchor point.
So he becomes the anchor and saves that world. And then at the end, you see Deadpool asking all the others in the Void to be saved, which was like Blade,
fuckers.
Elektra.
I understand what they're gonna do now.
Blade, Elektra.
Oh, you go ahead.
We're wrapping it up now. Hold on, we're wrapping up. So save Blade, Elektra, Gambit. So that's why I'm hoping that they do a Gambit movie. I'm hoping that they save him. At this point, X-23, which is Laura from Logan, also saved, because at the end, Wolverine is telling Deadpool to talk to Vanessa and make amends with her, takes Dogpool from him, and you see Laura next to him as well. And that's pretty much the ending. Other than the credits, which they kind of show a homage to the X-Men.
Nothing.
Right.
The credits
It's
is-
kind of a
yeah,
homage to all the Fox
it is.
shows.
Well, yeah, it's a behind the scenes thing. It's all the old behind the scenes Fox footage since Disney now owns Fox.
Correct.
It's all the footage that we saw.
freaking missed that.
Yeah. You missed it?
Yeah.
I missed the what are behind the scenes. All I see
Yeah,
was credit with the.
Yeah, it was
The,
all the behind the scenes of like Elektra, Deadpool, X-Men, all that. It was like a homage to all the Fox Marvel films.
I was not paying attention then.
Yeah, it was really, I really thought it was a well done farewell to all the Fox Marvel parts.
We talking about just regular credits.
Yeah, during the credits and the right
Okay,
and the
okay,
right
okay,
middle
never mind.
side
I thought I
and the
missed a
right
scene.
middle side, there was just scenes of all the Fox behind the
I
scenes.
missed that. I must have left. I must have left before that.
And then at the end, of course, Deadpool. There's no Marvel like they do this time.
There's no end credit sequence.
He shows up and says, "I'm going to prove to everybody that I didn't get Johnny Storm killed." So he plays it and shows Chris Evans as Johnny Storm cussing out Cassandra and basically saying he don't care if his skin gets ripped off.
Yeah. That was gruesome too. Like I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was a little much.
So now that I can say the spoilers with Gambit the way they did, I'm still going with an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm going with 8.5.
Because I still feel like the pacing could have been a little bit better, but at the end there, because I did feel like the last 30-40 minutes was a little bit more rushed, and I feel like there could have been
it would have been a 9 if they wouldn't have rushed that so fast, especially that fight scene with the Deadpools.
And yeah,
I think they would have slowed it down a little bit.
Well, I think the fight scene too at Cassandra's fortress could have been stretched out a little bit more. There could have been a little bit more time, but I realized they were cutting the time. They were trying to figure out where to cut characters at and stuff, and probably budgets at that point too, because I mean you got a lot of big name actors in this show.
I think it would have been good if they did like little clips in between, like with Deadpool and them fighting at the end with the other Deadpools, like them talking shit to each other. Yeah, I think it would have been pretty good.
So if you want me to go from a simplistic story side but having everything to it, I definitely think it's a 9 out of 10 for the story. 9 out of 10 for the performance. No, not the performances. For the special effects, the action, the characters themselves. 10. I'm gonna say that Ryan Reynolds hit out of the park with Deadpool.
10's hard to say.
Hugh Jackman still hit out of the park with Wolverine. I liked Gambit. I think there wasn't a character that really pissed me off, and it stayed true to that.
The only thing, the
pacing was an 8.
The Sabretooth thing is the only thing I think was.
It could have been a longer fight there.
It should have been a longer fight.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it is very, very good. Like I think it's a very good movie.
Sefka says, "I never liked Gambit. His constant flirting with Rogue had more ego than sincerity to it." I think this one, he really didn't flirt with anybody. This one was just...
Rogue isn't even in this.
No.
Rogue is not in this at all. It's just Gambit by himself.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Rogue in this movie. I know what Safika's talking about. She's talking about the
X-Men 97. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Where he's obsessed with Rogue. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was X-Men 97 because he always called her Mon Cherie or some shit.
Yeah, but it started in X-Men, the animated series, in 1992, which 97 is a continuation of.
Okay,
so
it
started
92,
yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of related with the Gambit with that thing too. Like, you love somebody so much, but you can't ever be with them. Like, I kind of get it. Like, when I was younger, I used to get with. I understand that. But I don't think he's a creep. I don't think he's a creep at all.
But to steer the conversation back to the closeout, as I think poor Mike's ready to pass out on me. You look so exhausted. You look so exhausted. I keep looking at you like, oh my God, is he gonna hold on? He looks like he's ready to.
I don't know. Just Gambit is one of my favorite characters too. Like, he's one of my favorite X-Men.
Gambit is one of my favorite X-Men because I like his powers. I like his synergy with Wolverine and Deadpool in the comics and stuff like that. I liked all that synergy. As far as bringing a lot of the old cast back, I'm surprised. Thank you for likes, guys. But at the end of the day, I think the movie overall was fantastic, and I was breaking that down. I lost a couple scores I was talking about. 8 for the pacing. That's what brought everything else down.
Yeah.
And maybe if we do more reviews, I'll start setting up a scorecard, and for my panelists to come on, kind of fill it out, and I'll put them up on there and kind of talk about it. Maybe I hadn't really built this. This is my first true review that we're doing live to talk about this, because I definitely would like to do more of these panel reviews like this in the future. So, because I think that this is good when you're kind of being objective to it. I mean, and as you can see, our scores are a little different. I mean, me and being definitely agree on the pacing, but like we disagree on the acting. Like Hugh Jackman 10, Ryan Reynolds is a 10, because I feel like those really, and Channing Tatum as Gambit, I really feel like they embodied those characters. That it's almost impossible to have a replacement at that point. And to me right now, that's almost impossible. It's just like trying to replace Blade is going to be damn near impossible. I mean, and one of Blade's favorite quips was, "Some motherfuckers are still trying to skate uphill," and I just love that line.
But for me, for a 10 would be like Patrick Stewart being Professor Xavier. I think that'd be a 10. I think he's perfect for that role.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's room for improvement for Deadpool a little bit, not much. I don't think it's a 10. I think I'll give him a 9.5 as a Deadpool.
So how do you feel like it could be improved any further?
Less fourth wall breaking. I get a little bit less. Like, he doesn't constantly do it. He doesn't constantly do it in the comics. Like, he doesn't constantly do it. He does it a lot.
Yeah, comics but also in the video game, he did a lot of it too.
I know, but it's not every time out of his mouth that he's fourth wall breaking. That's the only time I would say that. But I think I would give him 9.5. I would give Wolverine a 9.5.
Hang in there, Mike. We're almost done, buddy.
I know. Keep going.
Okay, Mike. What about you?
All right, I'm fine. All right. I'm just gonna give it a straight 9 overall. Like, I don't want to break anything down with it. It's just a straight 9. I liked what I liked, and there wasn't much. The only thing for me that I didn't really like is, and I understand why her powers were like this, because obviously she was not like her brother, but it just peaked me the hell out. The whole hand in face and other places and other things with Cassandra. That was the only thing that really just.
Oh, you didn't like Cassandra shoving her hand through people?
Hell no!
That was awesome.
I don't do horror movies, and that's a horror
That was amazing! She's like, "Oh, I didn't learn how to."
It was a great effect. I just didn't like it. It's not my thing. So, you know.
What do you mean?
There you go.
Scarlet Witch killed Patrick Stewart? Oh,
yeah, she's talking about the multiverse of madness.
Okay.
But
I forgot about that.
But Cassandra did not learn how to use her brain like Xavier, so she used it through touch and shoving her hands through people.
I understand why she's doing it. I mean, I don't have to like the damn
on purpose. I think she's doing it on purpose because it's uncomfortable for them.
I think so too. I think she's pure freaking evil, and
I think
you have to have.
Like, she's an awesome villain.
I agree with that. I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I just don't like.
And you know what I liked?
That's all.
No redemption. Sometimes every villain does not need a redemption arc. Some villains are beyond redemption.
They couldn't easily kill her too. I like that. How they couldn't easily kill her. No matter what they fucking did, she wouldn't die. I like that too. Like, she's still there. Like, I bet you she's still there somewhere.
Well, she got.
Because at the end of the movie, when she gets absorbed by a thing, I bet she gets sent right back to the void.
Nope, she got completely disintegrated. Her atoms.
So. I think she went right back to the void. I think she went right back to the void.
Wait, was the multiverse of madness just a statement of how angry she was, no matter what universe she was in?
I have no idea.
I'm not familiar on that one.
She wasn't in that movie.
No, I'm referring to Cassandra.
Sandra is new to
Xavier's
this film.
sister. Yeah, she's exclusive to Deadpool and Wolverine. She was the twin sister
in
of
the comics,
Xavier.
Yeah, she's in the comics, but for the movie universe, she's debuted
Yeah,
here.
this is brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her ability to read she has telekinesis, she has regeneration, and she has the ability to shove her hand right through people's skull and read their mind, because that's how she reads their thoughts. And so her hand, you see fingers dangling out through their skull and eye sockets.
That didn't bother me at all, but
For Mike, he's like, oh my god, it's horrible. She was
I see
evil,
worship.
Mike. She was pure fucking evil.
I know that. I know. I'm not arguing against that just because I don't like the effect. The effect is what I did not like. The special
I
effect.
think the
is not-
CGI when she was doing it could have been
Her fingers
better,
wiggling.
but I think it was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think that was a great torture way as a villain, and I was glad she was not redeemable.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just stating a fact that I am not a person who likes movie effects that are horror villain themed things that go through skin and bone and whatever. It's just not my thing.
Oh,
I don't
you
do
don't like
blood,
King-
guts, and gore.
No, you don't like Tiki.
Who the hell are you, Loop? Get out of here with that.
I'm alright with it.
Well, we found our Loop Junior here. Holy shit! Oh man, no. Cassandra Safka was Cassandra Xavier's
Cassandra
sister.
Cassandra Nova, Xavier's sister.
Yeah, and she was in the comics. I just
Yep.
don't remember much about her other than she was freaking pure evil, even in the comics.
Yeah, if Xavier went evil.
Yeah,
Like, that's 100% what
with
it is.
unrestrained power that
Yes,
Xavier had.
I think she did an awesome job. I think even the actress did a fucking awesome job
Yeah,
with her.
yeah, and I love how she just basically overpowered Deadpool and Wolverine find her together, and she's just like, flick of her finger, and it's like,
Out of all the villains in the MCU, I think she, like, maybe rivals or right below Thanos. I think she's right, like, she's
Yeah.
very fucking, like, straightforward with what the hell she's doing.
she would be the sort that would be a
doesn't
great
give a shit.
Avengers threat
Yes.
through the whole multiverse. She would be the one that I think would be another great threat. She builds up her army and she wants to destroy everything. Well, there you go.
Like, unpopular opinion, I would probably match her up with Thanos. What they did with her, like how menacing she is.
Thanos, though, wasn't really that menacing. Thanos just
He
wanted to
wasn't.
please
He
Lady
should have been
Death.
more.
I mean, and they didn't
kind of-
include that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Thanos was in love with Lady Death, and he wanted to
Yes.
win her affection by wiping out half the multiverse or world
But
or
in the
whatever it
MCU,
was.
I think they humanitized him way more the way he should have been.
Yeah, because it was all about population control at that point.
Which I kind of agree with them. Like, I kind of did agree with them. Maybe wipe out half of them. Like, maybe. But also, you could use the rings to fucking double the food.
So so we do have confirmed that Jar Jar Binks here, Mike, is an actual Sith Lord. So it is confirmed Jar Jar really was a Sith Lord.
I didn't kill any younglings. I didn't say anybody do it.
Not yet, he didn't.
Not yet.
Not yet. They pissed me off. We will find
Yeah.
out.
Damn, we need to get you an avatar of a Sith Lord Gungan now. And that'll be your new avatar. Holy shit.
Do it.
All right, so all in all, I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight as we did this movie review. I hope it's been informative. Like I said, this is the first time I'm having to pull stuff off the cuff, recapitulate it, and then these guys help fill in the blanks that I've missed, or also talk about the key points. As we've also learned, Mike does not like the fingers through the skull.
You can stop now. Thank you.
So, all in all, fantastic movie. should see it. I definitely recommend the IMAX version because you get a little bit more seats and you get. I like the surround sound. Music tracks were really good. I imagine "Like a Prayer" from Madonna is just high up there on playlist
Yeah, I'm gonna
too.
jam out to that a little bit before I go to bed.
But no, I'm looking forward to see what they do for Deadpool 4, Wolverine. Hoping that seems like Deadpool and Wolverine will be in the next Avengers, which I'm really
like
hoping.
how Deadpool already has more movies than half the fucking Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, and there was
Well,
a scene, and there's a scene that you guys will see. I did forget about it. Deadpool does see a spoiler that he's laying there bleeding and dying, and
Oh my
Thor's
God.
crying over him. Because even right now on X, Ryan Reynolds posted that picture on X about it, and it's like, I can't undo what I know. I'm like, oh God. So,
Oh well.
yeah. But anyway, I think we've covered everything we're going to talk about. So this is living proof that Hollywood can still make money if they just learn the formulas that Deadpool did.
Yep.
And the thing about it,
like,
there was no holds barred in this. It was like you joke about everything. It was like old comedy, like with Richard Pryor and all of them, in my opinion.
yes,
It was just
everything
like
is a joke.
everything a joke, you know. And it's like a way of saying, guys, loosen up. Just, you know.
Oh,
It doesn't matter if you like it or not. Everything is a fucking joke. Like it doesn't like it offends
Life
you. It doesn't
can be
offend
one
you.
big joke if you think about it.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean it's so.
I mean, there's. I honestly, I'm coming from a person. I will joke about literally anything. I don't care. Dark, light, doesn't matter.
Of course. Now, I'm gonna end the show because it's Mike's bedtime because the poor guy looks like he really needs to sleep.
No, well, I just had something pop up in my YouTube feed that wow. So I follow artist on there called 8-Bit Universe, and he does 8-bit themes.
And we are no longer
whatever.
on spoilers, so do not talk spoilers anymore. We're back to non-spoilers.
I'm not talking spoilers. Well, have they used the song in the movie? Have they used the song in the marketing?
Yeah.
Because if they used the song in the
Like
marketing,
a Prayer, 8-Bit.
No. Bye 8-Bit.
Oh.
Just put it in clips and highlights. Yeah, I literally just saw that as we're ending the show this week.
And
cool.
Hell's Bells. I love that song. Great song.
Honestly, I don't even like AC/DC, but after a song came out, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yep. So anyway, just give you a recap. Tomorrow night I will be streaming. Friday I plan to stream. Saturday there will not be a DGen and Green stream because Orcasaurus is out for the week. So he's gonna go see Deadpool and go touch grass. So so
if you go over to geekcastradio.com, episode 87 of Studio 2009 is online now, where Kai, myself, and Steve Megatron have a full spoiler-filled review of Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. So that's over there now as well.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night. And if you haven't seen Deadpool yet, go see it. You won't be sorry.
100%.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Great movie, absolutely. Nobody cares about